Guru Seva going to do. Okay, Guru Seva, will you start and then, yeah, I'll take it over.
Okay, hello, Aditьеи. Здравствуйте, друзья, всем, кто к нам присоединился сейчас в Zoom, вся наша прекрасная русская Ананда Сангха, ученики, криабаны и тем, кто просто интересуется этим учением пока. И также мы приветствуем всех, кто смотрит нас в нашем дружеском сообществе ВК, ВКонтакте, в группе Парамханса Йогананда, линии учителей. Я надеюсь, сейчас Божественная Мать поможет в Бхакти. У нас будет благополучно произведена эта трансляция, и наши прекрасные друзья в ВК также к нам присоединятся. Итак, доктор Адитья, мы благодарим, что он нашел время в своем загруженном графике, чтобы к нам присоединиться, так как он является одним из содиректоров Ананда Индии. Также он возглавлял центр в Анандапуне. В прошлом он практикующий врач, как мы знаем, хирург. Он посвятил это некоторое время этой практике и потом полностью ушел в йогу, в медитацию. Сейчас очень много преподает, очень много у него международной работы, в том числе в Японии, в Южной Америке, в Дубае, в России и так далее. И в прошлом году нам посчастливилось, мы пригласили Наясвами Адитью на йога-ретрит в Россию. И в прошлом году в июне он посетил 2 центра. Ретритный центр Ананда Истра, который находится в Подмосковье, и ретритный центр Крия-йога-центр Йогананда, в котором я сейчас нахожусь, под Туапсе. И в этом году, в апреле, также Наясвами Адитья прилетает на йога-ретрит в эти 2 центра. Я, пользуясь случаем, приглашаю вас присоединиться офлайн или онлайн. И сейчас мы начнем с чанта, который написал с вами Криананда. Бог, я весь твой, будь со мной, будь со мной. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой, я весь твой, Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой, Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой, я весь твой, Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой. Будь со мною, будь со мной, будь со мною, будь со мной, я весь твой, я весь твой. Будь со мною, будь со мной, будь со мною, будь со мной, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой. Будь со мною, будь со мной, будь со мною, будь со мной, я весь твой, я весь твой. Будь со мною, будь со мной, будь со мною, будь со мной, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой. Будь со мною, будь со мной, будь со мною, будь со мной, я весь твой, я весь твой. Будь со мною, будь со мной. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой, я весь твой. Бог, я весь твой, я весь твой. Будь со мною, будь со мной. Будь со мною, будь со мной. Я весь твой, я весь твой. Будь со мною, будь со мной. Будь со мною, будь со мной. Я весь твой, я весь твой. Давайте помедитируем несколько мгновений. И я приглашаю доктора Адитью с прекрасной темой «Карма и реинкарнация». Welcome, Aditya.
Should I start now? All right. Welcome, everybody. Namaste. First of all, can you hear me well? I hope there's no background sound coming. Very nice. So, of course, welcome to many of my friends who I have seen over the years. And I hope that in some of these classes, some new friends are also coming. Because the purpose of these online classes, yes, we are going to go deep in Yogananda Ji's teachings, but it is also to take these teachings out to many others. You know, friends, today's topic, for example, karma, reincarnation. I'll speak a little bit about death also, because you might say between two incarnations, there is death, there is birth. And it's on one level, a very common understanding. It is the basis of many religions. On the other hand, sometimes it is not the focus of quite a few other religions and cultures. But as Yogananda Ji's guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar said, he said, it's not a matter of belief. The simple question is...
1 second, something is with our sound, so let us... Microphone. Aditya, could you say something, because we are checking the sound if you can hear.
Can you hear me, Arjuna? Can you hear me now? Okay, let's go ahead. Now, the interesting thing about karma is that everything is karma. Even, for example, what happened just now, if you look back, it is karma. And I was saying that, many a times this is a common knowledge, and many times people say, I don't believe in these things. There's no proof of it. Today, I will share some stories that I have known personally of people who knew of their past lives, other people who told them about past lives, their past lives. And the more important thing is not those lives. It's good to know there is a direction, but the important thing is, are we free from the past and from the present? That I have seen in some people, especially I remember Swami Kriyananda. He was a direct disciple of Paramhans Yogananda. I'm holding Yogananda ji's book, Autobiography of a Yogi, over here. And in this book, interestingly, on page 1, second paragraph, Yogananda is talking about remembering his own past lives. Page 2, fourth paragraph, he's again talking about some other lives. And he says, many a times we don't remember these things. But in all cultures, if you see the life of some people, especially little children, they remember. If you're interested in this subject, I encourage you to just go on YouTube, online, and search some stories about these things. Anyway, let's first try to understand, friends, what is karma and if that principle is true or not. Also, I'll speak maybe just for about 15 to 20 minutes today, and then we will have 15 to 20 minutes for questions and answers, because this subject is, I hope, interesting to you, and feel free to ask questions, even if it's simple or something on your mind. Don't feel shy, even if you're a new person who has come for the first time today. Now, what is karma? That is a Hindi word. It means action. But I ask you, somewhere in your own self, do you feel that if you do a certain thing in this world, if you project a certain love, a certain energy, sometimes negative energy, if you express generosity, or if you think deeply some things, they start happening to you. What you put out, it comes back to you. Has it happened to you or not? Sometimes we're trying to do something wrong, and this inner voice says, don't do it. It will come back. So let me explain what the scriptures say. What did Yogananda say about it? Is it true or not? First of all, Yogananda ji said it is absolutely true. We may or may not remember it. In this life also, if I ask you, if you're, let's say, 50 years old, and if I ask you all your thoughts, actions of the last 50 years, nobody, hardly anybody, you have to be a saint to remember those things. So, Yogananda said what happens is, when this universe, when this creation, when God created this universe, he said, it started vibrating. In the Bible, it's called the Word. In the beginning was the Word. In the Hindu scriptures, we call it Om. It's a vibration. And what does a vibration mean? The vibration means that if you put something, if in the tuning fork, if you hit the fork like this, it moves, and then it comes back to a still, unmoving position. And so it is that Yogananda said, when we put out a certain thought, energy, action, it travels in space and time. That action, that energy, that feeling travels in space and time, and it comes back to us. That is the simple understanding of karma. Now, what is good karma then? People say, oh, if we have been going on and living for many incarnations, then how do we come out of it? Good karma, good action are those things which make us feel free inside. There is no compulsion. There is no reaction. There is no impulse. You are aware about life. You are doing things, but you're not feeling pushed or propelled. So that inner freedom takes us back, or you might say, even now, it makes us aware of our soul nature. When people meditate, for example, or even in deep sleep, but let's say meditation, our heart rate can slow down quite a bit. Our breath becomes very slow. The body is not moving. The mind becomes very calm. It's not disturbed by thoughts. And in that state, if you have experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. And if you have not, I encourage you to try meditation. You feel deep freedom, lightness. You may sometimes actually see an inner light. What is that? That is our soul nature. Yogananda said we are all images of God. God has become everything. He has become you and me. When we are in the ego, let's say I'm operating from the individuality of Aditya. So the ego is one thing. And the second most important thing which binds us to karma, good and bad, is our likes and dislikes, attachments, preferences. So if I say Aditya likes to have his coffee this way, if I get my coffee like that, I'm happy. If I don't, I may become unhappy. So you see, there is reaction over there. Now, coffee is a very small thing. But if I start disturbing other people, if I start trying to control other people, if my actions are not good by society standards, and especially if they are harmful to people, then sooner or later, in this life or the next, those things will come back to me, and I may not remember why it is happening to me, but it is happening because I started it, or cooperated with it, or participated with it in the first place sometime. Now, what happens? Let's say, where does life come from? Yogananda said life comes from God. Today, if we say, how are the plants growing? People will say, oh, it's the sun ray. The sun rays are falling and the plants are going through their nutrition and all of that. Okay, but where does the sun come from? Where is its power to give life come from? Where are you and I coming from? The planet, once again, creation. Yogananda said life comes from God. And here we are living for 100 years, 80 years. But Yogananda said, if we learn how to overcome all our past karma, we are born once again in eternal life. That is known in Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism. So many religions talk about it. That here we are basically we are learning how to regain our soul's freedom. So karma, whether it is good or bad, is something we start. And when we learn how to control our emotions, our ego, when we, you might say, use them in a nice way, then we start feeling happier, lighter, and more freedom. And then Yogananda said, We can, if we are non-attached in our present life, Yogananda said, you will remember your past lives. He remembered his past lives. He used to tell the past lives of some of his devotees. I'll tell you one quick story, and then I'll share how we can overcome our karma, and then we'll have some questions and answers. You know, Swami Kriyananda ji came to India for the first time in 1958. And he met the Maharaja, the king of Patiala in North India. And the Maharaja told him, I want you to meet my priest and astrologer. So they went to meet him. And to make a long story short, in India, in many places, you find 3, 4, 2,500-year-old scripts where people's past lives are written. Now, again, this seems imaginary. It seems, how can somebody 3,000 years ago know who will be born? Like I said, there is a direction to our momentum, how we are living. And saints can predict that. That is why sometimes even you and I can know beforehand, 1 or 2 days before something is going to happen, we get to know because we are very calm, or through a dream, through an intuition, we are shown that in space and time, we can predict some things. So anyway, that priest told Swami Kriyananda about his life from many, many incarnations before. For example, Kriyananda said, that priest told him, your mother had a miscarriage, and the miscarriage was of a daughter. And Kriyananda ji said he never knew that. He went back and he asked his mother if that is true. And his mother said, how did you know? Your father and I decided we would never speak about it. And Swami said, somebody told me. It was written on a paper thousands of years ago. Another thing that reading said was that in this life, Kriyananda ji would have a hole in his heart. Why? Because in a past life, he wanted to find God and he went to the deserts of Rajasthan in India. But when his wife tried to join him in that spiritual search, he said, no, you go back home. I will stay in the desert alone and try to find God. Your presence will not be helpful to me. And the reading said, because he pushed away the love of his wife, this time he will have a hole in his heart. And Swamiji had a hole in his heart. Isn't that staggering? Kriyananda also had a beautiful voice. And that reading said that he has a beautiful voice in this life because he sang to God for 20 years in the desert, devotional chants. And because of that positive energy of chanting, it will reflect in his voice in this incarnation. Very quickly, when I read the autobiography of a yogi in 2006, I was staying with a friend in New Delhi. And we was a group of friends, I told one of them that I have read a book today. And the author is talking about past lives being true. To make, again, a long story short, my friend said that he does not remember it. But his parents and his uncle and aunt told him that he was the child of a distant relative 30 years ago. He was a doctor in that life. In this life also, he was a doctor. His father in that life, in 1970s, basically, had told him, if you get a gold medal in your medical school, I will get you a cruiser bike. And the boy came first. He got the bike. And when he was coming to meet his parents on that bike, he had an accident and he died. Anyway, when somebody dies, the whole family comes together. And in India, there is a 13-day period of mourning. So all the relatives stay together. On the second night of that boy's passing, he came in the dream of three ladies at the same time. And he said to his mother, "Don't worry, I am going to be born as that lady's son." He told that lady, "Don't cry for me, auntie. I am coming as your son." And he told that lady's older sister, "Don't cry for me. In a few months, I will be born as her son." And he was born. And anyway, like I said, he became a doctor. He wanted to be a surgeon. Today, he's a surgeon. He didn't remember this, but when he was a little boy in this life, their house had no telephone. We are talking about 1978, 79. No internet, of course. But this little boy used to stand outside the house saying, "Today my father is coming, my father is coming." And talking about that other relative whose child he was, that man was going to come and he would come. So his parents would say, "How does this child know?" The relative did not tell anybody, but this boy would say, "Father is coming, today father is coming and he's going to bring mangoes for us." So we have a physical body. We have the senses which tell us a few things. But remember, friends, the soul inside the body has a reality which through intuition, through meditation, all of us can experience. And more importantly, like I said, it's not so important to see the past. It's a lot of past lives. The important thing is to feel the freedom, to live in that freedom. Finally, I'll share this story where there were two little children in Ananda village in our community in California. And one was just a few months old and the other was about 2.5 years old. So one day, this little boy who was 2.5 years old, he told his mother, "Can I go in the room and play with my little brother?" And the mother said, "Yes, yes, of course." So he went inside and the mother slowly went behind because you'll know sometimes children are jealous of each other and they can pinch one another or something. So the mother went behind and she tried to just see what is happening. And this 2.5-year-old boy was telling his newborn brother, how is it on the other side? How is it? Please tell me, I am beginning to forget." And Swami Kriyananda said, the reason why the toys of children, newborn and small children, are bright in color, and we all know children like those colors, it is because the children have just come from the astral world. And there, that world is made of light, energy, and a lot of bright colors. So they respond to those bright colors. It is a transition from the energy world to the physical world. And when we have overcome our karma, we live here freely. When we die, we don't go to the astral world. You can go there. When reincarnation happens, we go there. Yogananda said, when a man and woman come together to have a child, when the egg and the sperm have a contact, now even physically, we know there is a reaction and a bright light is emanated. You can go online and study. Even physical union of those cells produce a flash of light. But Yogananda said in the astral world, there is certainly a very clear flash of light. Based on the intensity and the quality of that light, the souls which are waiting to be born, they seek compatibility, resonance with that light. And accordingly, they are born in a particular family. Once they are born in a particular family where they have energy compatibility, then when the child grows, you and I say, "Oh, his nose looks like his father. His eyes are like his mother. Or his behavior is a little bit like his aunt. Because the group karma, the compatibility of energy and consciousness is starting to express on the physical world. Good karma, also sometimes illnesses, they all are passed on. So we have individual karma, we have family karma, we have national and global karma. Isn't that interesting? So some things we can easily control. Our karma we can control. Finally, I'll say that in our spine, the way the human body is made, Yogananda explains, the actions that we do through the hands, through the senses, through the legs, they are all stored in our spine in different chakras. A chakra is just like a little level of consciousness. And Yogananda said, when we can bring that energy, that consciousness, beyond the ego, which is at the medulla, beyond the heart, beyond the ego, when we can bring it to the spiritual eye. Even in the Bible, there's a line, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. This is the single eye. It is for everybody. You can see it in meditation also. When we can merge our consciousness over there, homework is done. And that is what yoga teaches us. That is what Kriya Yoga teaches us. That is why we are given a blessing at the spiritual eye. Anyway, I'll now invite some questions. Otherwise, this topic seems a little theoretical, but if you have any specific questions, please do bring them up now and let's try to go through them.
We have a chant on chat box few questions, Aditya ji. Guru Seva, could you read them, please?
And Bhakti, we have
Yes,
time.
we have a question from Olga Shuvalova. I
And
have
we have-
long been interested in the question of whether everything is predetermined and where does karma and my responsibility begin? Can I control and influence my life if I don't even know my next thought? It just comes to me as a given. Меня давно интересовал вопрос о том, все ли предопределено и где заканчивается карма и начинается моя ответственность. Могу ли я контролировать свою жизнь и влиять на все, если я даже не знаю свои следующие мысли? Она просто приходит ко мне как данность.
That's a very good question, very practical. And the answer is yes, we can control our karma and destiny. Yogananda said we have no option. We have to start from where we are. First, we try to go from what Kriyananda called, let's say, an unhealthy ego to the state of a healthy ego. What is a healthy ego? Healthy individuality? Somebody which is trying to, like you are asking, be open and asking a genuine question. Being willing to experiment and see if things are working or not. So when we are going through life, Yogananda said through the ego, through the individuality, what you do is the egoic will. I want to do this. I think I should do this. Like you said, a thought comes to us. But if you study the life of a saint, my friend, how do they operate? The will of God. What does God want? They may call God Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Guru. But the point is, what does God want to do through me? So the same ego, when it tunes into the divine will, you see, your and my thoughts, as you said, are part of God's intelligence. They are part of God's thinking. So when we calm the heart, when we are again through meditation, by attitudes like acceptance, patience, calmness, devotion, purity of heart. Like Jesus said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. What is a pure heart? Where the likes and dislikes are not there. Hatred is not there. Revenge is not there. So in such a person, you can listen to the guidance, and the thoughts that you get, as you are saying, will be God's guidance. And God wants us to come back home. So your final destiny, Kriyananda used to say, is to merge with God. The more we align, what does God want me to do? The inner voice will guide you. Through silence, through a dream, through a vision, through your friends, through a scripture, through a guru, through the intuition of your meditation. So, yes, it is possible to control our destiny, and our final destiny is to merge in God. We came from God, we must go back to Him. I hope that is helpful. Otherwise, please ask me if there was some aspect of it which I have not explained, and I'll try to go deeper in that.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Arjuna.
Oh, there is one more. There is one more in chat. No. So I will say in English,
Yes.
and I will then translate. Several times Asha was mentioning the case about a small boy. Remember, he said that my first choice was another mother. And in autobiographies, it's not big explanations about this transition back. So, and in the song of Swami said, and life again. So is it consciously we choose, or we just go in some conditions like we not conscious, and then whoops, life again. Oh my God. I will translate now.
Sure. Okay. All right. Very good question, Arjuna. Thank you. Now, imagine somebody who is drunk on a lot of vodka. A lot of it. I think that person will not know next day how he reached where he reached, and when he wakes up, he's like, where am I? How did I reach here? What happened? Because that person's awareness was very low. So Yogananda said, when our awareness is very low, when we die, we don't know where we are going. We are sort of sleeping in that astral world. And based on our level of energy and karma, when again, like I explained, when a couple is meeting to have a child, you are drawn into that family. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, if you have done very wrong acts, you will be born in demonic wombs. It's a very strong word. If you have done good acts, then your awareness is high after death, and your energy is high, and a family which is high-minded, when they come together, you will be drawn in that family because now you can finish the unfinished work. So there is enormous intelligence in this universe, friends. And we go absolutely mathematically where our karma takes us. Now, sometimes there can be things which is hard to explain. For example, Kriyananda said, a saint can be born in a family of robbers. Why? Because all the robbers, if they are tired of robbing, they know this is not a good thing and they are longing for peace. The longing for peace will attract a saint in the family. On the other hand, you can have very saintly parents and you attract a child or a spouse or a relative who is very challenging emotionally, physically, through their behavior. Why? Because that person needed somebody who is understanding. Maybe you needed to pass your higher exam of emotional control. And because both of them still want some peace in their life. You know, it's so common when people get angry. One of the common things they say is, I didn't want to get angry. You made me like that. You know, I really once met a gangster in real life and he wanted some money from me. And this money was not mine. It was the ashram's money. So I wouldn't give him. So he tried to threaten me. I said, no. So he beat me up with some people. And people told him, don't beat him. You know, he's a monk, he's a doctor. Try to understand, it's not his money. Anyway, he beat me. And then he said, I didn't want to beat you. I'm a peace-loving man. But you made me do it. So, and I could understand his point of view that we both want peace, but our approaches were quite different. So, you can find such people in the same family. Anyway, again, I'll say Yogananda was so aware. A saint is completely aware in life and death. And a person like that, they are drawn to certain families. So again, you can read the autobiography of a yogi. There's also a beautiful chapter, Kashi is dead and reborn, how one of Yogananda's disciple was reborn following the principle of reincarnation and magnetism into the right family. Again, that's why we look like our parents, no? Because there is compatibility on some or the other level. Now, here's the important thing. The more I travel in Ananda worldwide, different centers and communities, the more I have seen, yes, some physical resemblance between devotees, but more importantly, spiritual and emotional compatibility. And these people have never met each other. So Yogananda said these are friends and family members of past lives. Because this game goes on really for a long time at least. Let's just say that much. So when you are out on the road, don't think other people are strangers. You don't have to go and hug them. Oh, my brother, my sister, I have found you. But if you feel something, whether it's true or not, it's good always to project love, forgiveness, kindness to people. It uplifts the soul. Okay, any more questions? Please don't feel shy. And you can openly tell me, I don't believe any of this. and ask me to explain some other point. I'll try to do my best.
I have a question, Dr. Aditya.
Yes, please. Who is it? Galina, yes.
My name is Gelena, and I'm from Moscow.
Вы можете, в принципе, задать в онлайне, если хотите, не обязательно писать в чат-бот, если у кого-то есть, задавайте.
I'm a teacher of meditation and Ananda minister, and
Гелечка, ты хотела что-то сказать? Я тебя не слышу почему-то. Гель.
я говорю.
Да, слышишь? Всё.
Я говорю на английском канале. Меня слышно? Ну, надеюсь, что меня слышно. I hope that they can listen to me and translate. And, you know, I've met a lot of misunderstanding with karma conception among very spiritual people. When something bad happens, really bad things, people just justify the bad things with karma and God's will. For example, if some minister, some high spiritual person do abuse or sexually use women or, I don't know, steal money, should the church, the leaders of the church admit it and publicly apologize, or they should, how to say that I don't know, that is God's will, you know. How would you held the practical, how to say, case? For example, in hypothetical group of yours, your leader, and you have a co-leader or Gurubai who is doing really bad things. How would you resolve it?
Well, first of all, we have to certainly admit it. We have to, apologize for that. You have to feel what is the right step to take beyond that. I'm thinking of Jesus Christ, for example. He would tell many people who had done wrong things. And wrong things, it's a very long list. That he would say, I have forgiven you. Go out and sin no more. On the other hand, if somebody is habitually making a mistake or in the very beginning has done, like you said, something which is very hurtful, then the person has to be removed from that position. They have to, sometimes, as you know, it becomes a legal situation because there is law in society to protect people, and law has to take its course. And certainly we have to remember the person has created karma now. They may or may not, go through justice in this life or in this world. But the law of karma will find its way back. I'll tell you something without going in the detail. I got a prayer request many years ago when Swami Kriyanandaji was around. And this was from a person, their relative. They had undergone a very serious sort of situation, challenge, and physical, mental assault on them. And I asked Swamiji that, what shall we do? Should we do a police case, or what is the right thing over here? And people were very distant. We didn't know exactly who did it, what happened. And Swami, I remember, his voice became very choked with emotion and love. First of all, he said, let's help this person, the victim. Let's help the person. Let's give her a job. Let us see how we can help her come back. And then he says, don't do a police case. Now, there can be many reasons for that. And here's the important thing. He said, Aditya, everything is karma. Karma will find a way to balance things out. So again, you will see many times the person who goes through a thing like that, the victim, they have somewhere a calmness to forgive. That is very healing for the victim themselves, first of all. That is, Swamiji said it requires a lot of strength to do that. So the person has to be very evolved. But that does not mean that the person who has done it is totally free. They have to change themselves, their thought, their habits, their subconscious. That is where the habits stay, so it does not repeat itself. But yes, as an organization and in society, we have to take the appropriate measure. Otherwise, people's confidence gets broken. And we have taken that step. Many a times in Ananda, I can speak of Ananda because my adult life has been in Ananda. When that challenge comes, we call our leaders, we talk to the person, and we talk to the victim. We take whether it's money. Yogananda said the main delusions are money, sex, wine, power, name, fame, popularity, following, so many things. So it is a fine balance of doing the right thing. At the same time, be open for kindness, forgiveness. It's individual. That's all I'll say in the end. All right. Any other thoughts, questions? Bhakti, is my time till 8:30 I'm seeing. Did we start at 7 or 7:30? I forget. That is one of the problems of being a priest. You don't know when to stop. Do we have time or we've crossed our time? 5 minutes, 5 more minutes. Okay. No questions? Now, who are these two sisters or friends I am seeing? Ekaterina, Perm. Who are they? Have we met at the retreat or somewhere? No? Okay. Okay, let me just see my notes if there's something. By the way, there's this beautiful book. I don't know if you've translated it in Russian, but it's a beautiful book with Yogananda's teachings of karma and reincarnation. I'll tell you one or two maybe inspiring stories about, when we die. Yogananda ji said the gurus, those who are disciples. Now, again, it's not like God is favoring somebody, but it's just like if you're in school and you go up to somebody and you say, hey, can we be friends? And then sometimes you say, can we be best friends? And when you're at a job, you tell your boss, your team, I'm going to be with you. We will do this project together. Similarly, when we are on the spiritual path, if we tell God and God's messenger, in India we call them a guru, you can call them a master, a guide, anything. Jesus, for example, was the master to his disciples and to many, many others. So when you make a promise like that, then Yogananda said, at the moment of your death, you live in the physical or spiritual presence of your guru, and when you die, they come to take you on to the other side. And I have found many stories of that, friends. One of my own relatives, he never met Swami Kriyananda ji, but after my relative passed away, Swami Kriyananda brought him to meet my mother in her dream. It was very interesting because when he died, my relative was alone. And my mom was feeling, I want to meet him. In this book, Yogananda gives 4 techniques how to meet your near and dear ones. Through meditation, through prayer, through a vision, or through sleep, sometimes in dream, or through a feeling. Again, you feel they are here. It's a very real feeling. I used to feel that with some of my patients. They die. You are making the death certificate, you're handing over the body, but you feel they are here. So it's a very interesting thing. Another was of Sri Yukteswar Ji. He came in 2021 to a devotee in Pune, and before the devotee died, and he told him, I am with you. And soon afterwards, the devotee died. But the wife of the devotee told us 3 months later when I met her, she said, when my husband was left his body after 3 days, I saw in my house my husband's body. He was sitting, and that's the astral body. It looks, Anand Mohima used to say, if you start a fan at full speed, you can see the fan blades like one disc. So the physical body also, when the energy moves very rapidly, we see the physical form, but it's energy really. So anyway, this lady saw her husband and she went to touch him, and he said, don't touch me. This is not my physical body. I am leaving. I am exiting. And she said at that time, she saw the colors of the spiritual eye. If you see behind bhakti and behind Guru Seva, there are these lights. It's called the spiritual eye. It's white, yellow, and blue in color. Those are actual lights of the spiritual eye. Let's just say, I won't explain it. And she said, I was looking at my husband and suddenly these lights came on him. And I saw where the light is coming. It was coming from the entrance of our house. And then when she turned back, her husband was levitating and going in that light. That's a very dramatic story, but it happens. This is a promise. So in life and death, there's a lot of intelligence, like I was saying. Finally, I'll say about karma. Look at some habit patterns or things which are holding us back, where we are feeling too much of a grip of ego or likes and dislikes. And if we can try to get rid of them, in meditation, in Kriya Yoga especially, we offer those things up and we feel freedom. Even in one breath, it takes only 30 seconds. You can feel a lot of freedom because Yogananda explained, even in one Kriya or one meditation, the karma of an entire lifetime or many lives can be burnt up, can be finished. When we finally find God, many times people don't want to merge in God because they feel, if I find him, what about me? I don't want to stop existing as Aditya, for example. And that will not happen. You become one with God, you become infinite. But Kriyananda said, in that infinite consciousness, you remember and retain the memory of all your past lives. And if anybody calls to your past life, you can sometimes come back by your will, freedom, in that form. Anyway, I don't want to make it too theoretical, but we are sort of real right now, but our true reality is in God. When we live in Him, now and later, then we have that freedom. That is where we want to live, friends. Freedom from karma is very liberating, to say the least, Yogananda ji said. Okay? If there are one more time, if there are some questions, I'd be happy to take them. Somebody asked about good or bad karma. Sometimes Kriyananda used to say, let's say you win a lottery. Now, sounds like a very good thing. And it's not a bad thing, getting a lottery is not a bad thing. But if you get into bad habits of, let's say, drinking, drugs, and whatnot, then was it a good karma? No. On the other hand, if somebody gets cancer, I have seen people really, devotees who've gone through cancer and all. You start praying, you prioritize your life. You pick up the phone and you say, hey, X, Y, Z, I'm sorry about what I said. Please forgive me, and I am forgiving you. You feel a lot of freedom every hour when you're going through a physical, life-threatening danger. So that is bad karma? No. It brought freedom, so it's good karma. So many beautiful things too. So don't put karma in a box. And the more we live by doing right actions through our thinking, through our energy, especially. Many times you'll make somebody just a cup of tea. But they'll say, it's not about the tea. It's about the love with which you made the tea. Now that is good karma you're giving to somebody. And then you feel it. So karma is a lot about energy, the quality of the energy behind the action. When we do that, we feel freedom, and we, of course, want to live in that longer and longer. Okay, friends, thank you so much for coming, for your questions, and I look forward to seeing you all. Now we are in March, and yeah, April. In less than a month, I'll be there, and I hope some or all of you can come. It's just wonderful, to come together when we meditate, when we serve, when we have our meals together. We'll be doing yoga, and these, this satsang was 1 hour. When I come, they make me talk from morning to 9 p.m., 10 p.m. And Arjuna also does not get a break. We both finally stop talking at 10 p.m. But it's a great time to get to know each other and go through Yoganandaji's teachings. So I welcome you all, online or in person. I'll be in Moscow and in Yogananda in near Sochi. Okay, shall we close with a prayer? Guru Seva, would you like to close us with a prayer and some healing prayers for the world, chanting Om?
Друзья, давайте обратимся с исцеляющей молитвой, завершим этот прекрасный сатсанг, поблагодарим еще раз Адитью, который нашел время, возможность, всех нас, друг друга. И давайте визуализируем нашу планету, все неспокойные регионы, наполним их вибрациями радости, покоя, любви, доброты. Визуализируем всех людей, в сердцах которых сейчас печаль. Пусть Божественная Мать наполнит сердце каждого любовью, состраданием. И обратимся к Божественной Матери. Божественная Мать, Ты вездесуща, Ты пребываешь во всех Твоих детях. Прояви свое исцеляющее присутствие во всех телах, во всех умах и во всех душах. И наполни наши ладони вибрациями света и отправим всей планете Земля и всем живым существам на этой планете. Шанти. Еще раз благодарю всех, кто смог присоединиться сегодня. И как Адитья сказал, что он приедет уже через месяц, совсем скоро. Это будет конец апреля и начало мая. Мы приглашаем вас на ретриты в наши 2 ретритных центра в Ананда-Истре. Будет ретрит, посвященный высшим криям с 20 по 22 апреля. Потом 22 и 24 апреля выездные мероприятия в Москве. Если вы еще не в Санке, но находитесь в Москве, или если у вас есть возможность присоединиться, пожалуйста, приезжайте. И после в Ананда-Истре также будет открытый ретрит, после чего мы ждем Адитьи в Югананде под Туапсе с 28 апреля по 4 мая, также на нашем ретрите. Программы также будут доступны онлайн. Пожалуйста, присоединяйтесь. Если у вас есть вопросы, пишите в комментариях, пишите нам лично. Мы с удовольствием ответим. И также напомню, что у нас в Москве сейчас по вторникам Ананда-Истра проводит открытые мероприятия, где можно попробовать техники медитации Йогананды, Ананда-йогу, чантинг. Тоже от души вас приглашаем на эти событиям, на эти встречи. Благодарю вас.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Arjuna. See you soon.
Thank you, Aditya.